To discuss the rather topsy-turvy nature of this AFL competition, Alex Caiafa joins us at TheInformer. Mate, what did you make of last week? I can't believe that Alistair Clarkson would say 1 week that Geelong weren't a very good side. This is after his side had been flogged by Geelong. Yeah. And then last week we saw the Navy Blues, who really couldn't make an opening quarter stick, come up and give it to them, to the Cats that is, in their own backyard. What did you make of that?
I think those words from Clarkson got into their mentality, and Carlton took complete advantage of it. 5 goals to 1 in the first quarter. I don't think anyone was expecting that. And their 1 goal was from, arguably a bit of a staged free kick from Selwood. So it was pretty, yeah.
Who impressed you in the Navy Blues at Cardinia Park or GMHBA?
I think Cripps and Doherty were spectacular, but a guy by the name of Levi Casbolt was huge in that game. He took big marks, kicked big goals when he needed to, and just everything he was around, he was a threat. Also Eddie Betts, just showing he's still got some magic left in those little legs.
Yeah, it was terrific to see the number 19 do their stuff. Okay, I was also amazed by the fact that Carlton did something they haven't done since 1996. That's beat the Cats down in Geelong. You said to me before in our last interview that if we didn't get started in the first quarter, we'd be flogged by quite a number of points. That didn't happen. Yep. Do you think there's hope now for the Navy Blues to mount some sort of challenge this season? I know we've started with only 1 win, but can they continue? They're playing the Bombers this week, one of our feared and ferocious rivals, who are also a bit wounded.
Yep.
But they're coming off a week, was it a bye? Or a delay because they couldn't play because of a COVID-19 scare.
Yeah. Look, this week is a huge game for both teams, and being one of the biggest rivalries in the AFL, both teams are always going to be up for the fight. One team could be undefeated, the other team couldn't have won a game, and it's just going to be close all the time. If that win against Geelong doesn't give Carlton the belief that they can win against anyone, anywhere, I don't know what will. I believe they can get it done.
Let's talk about the Bombers. They've had a huge controversy all week about one of their players who one moment has tested positive to a coronavirus test, and then the next minute we're told it was a negative or a false negative. What are we to believe, and what do we make of the AFL testing procedures, which I think is an even bigger story, rather than working out whether your Irish import has it or doesn't have it?
Yeah, it's a bit of a concern, isn't it, that a player's getting a negative, then a positive, and then a negative again.
So is he likely to play?
No, he won't play. I believe that the AFL and Essendon in particular would be crazy to let him on the field if he's had even some sort of a positive test. I'd like to think that you've got 2 negative tests in a row, then you're given the all clear. But I believe that the 2 weeks quarantine is definitely warranted.
One coach that's really happy is the man called Fagan. I told you Brisbane might come and do it at home. They played at home against the homeless Eagles, who have been, as they call, stuck in a hub. Yeah. Well, they've been stuck with an inability to score goals. Yeah. They got flogged. Yeah, Brisbane looked the goods.
Brisbane were impressive. Well, Lockie Neal's a superstar. He's arguably the best man in the comp at the moment. Yeah. He's just flying. And, all their younger guns, Jared Berry, Hugh McCluggage, it's not even Charlie Cameron and those sort of guys that are dominating. It's the other younger guys that are picking up, and they're
making a difference.
They're making a very big difference.
We're going to have to wait and see on the Eagles because they've been away from home. They're going to be back at home now. Yep. They're flying back or have flown back, and they're going to be in their own beds for the first time in ages. You expect to see them roar back into some sort of, football fashion?
I just think they have too much talent on that team that they can't stay down for too long. So I believe after this hub's done, once they get back to Perth.
And a smile on Adam Simpson's face?
Once a smile on the entire team's face, I would have thought they're going to be pretty good.
Okay, another team that's making their coach smile is the team that's coached by Stuart Dew. These Gold Coast Suns, mate, they're making a case to win their first premiership. Have I gone early?
Look, last year they went 3-1, then proceeded to lose the next 19.
Okay.
So
I shouldn't be getting to it.
I think we need to just take a step back a little bit, but it's hard to go past what they're doing. They've been super exciting. They're playing a really good brand of football, and it's getting them results. So until that happens and anything else happens otherwise, got to keep going with the flow.
Let's talk about the Saints, who were looking good until they ran into a team called Collingwood. Collingwood look fearsome.
Collingwood are looking the benchmark at the moment. They look serious, like the premiership favourites at the moment. They've been awesome and are just making teams pay.
And Richmond, the champions, have they been told that the season has restarted?
Geez, this is very un-Richmond. Like their pressure's not up. They're not hitting targets. They're rushing. They're actually being forced to slow it down, where they like to play a fast game also. And teams have done their homework on them, and it's not that easy for them. But this is Richmond. They've won 2 of the last 3 premierships. You got to expect at some point a bounce back's coming.
And Hawthorn?
Oof, that was impressive.
They were. The oldest team in town, eh?
Jaeger O'Meara. That's the name.
One man
man's
come
in
and
it's just made such a difference. His work at the clearances.
Let's go to the tips. Okay. What are your tips for this weekend? Go through them.
Sydney against the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
8 points. Gonna go the Giants. Collingwood against the Giants down in Sydney. Almost made a mistake there. Port Adelaide to beat West Coast.
Yeah, they're another side that's been really impressive since the restart.
They're flying at the moment.
Adelaide, we're not going to talk about. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Because the less said, the better.
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Richmond to beat St Kilda. We're expecting a Richmond bounce back.
To bounce back. Is Dustin Martin playing?
That's the news I've heard.
Okay. You've just shattered hundreds of St Kilda fans who were hoping this might be an opportunity to jag a win against slightly fragile Tigers.
Yeah, they are fragile, but Dusty coming back, that's just going to go.
Okay, keep going.
Carlton to beat the Bombers.
Okay.
I'm calling the confidence. I'm believing in what they can do. And
okay.
They're gonna
so if we don't get the victory, I'm blaming you, Caiafa.
Sorry.
Right, next.
Gold Coast to beat Fremantle. I think it's too hard to go past how exciting they've been at the moment, and believe they're going to get it done.
And what about, what's the other contest that was the last game?
We've got Brisbane against Adelaide.
And who's going to win that?
Brisbane.
It's got to be Brisbane.
Brisbane are going to win that. Next we've got Melbourne and Geelong.
Now, Melbourne's had to delay playing the Bombers. That would have put them off balance, I would have thought.
Yep.
Who do they play?
They play Geelong, and that's a Geelong team that have just coming off a loss against Carlton, who they were expecting to win comfortably. I'm tipping Geelong. They were good in that last quarter, you got to admit. They put the pressure on, and they know they need to win this week.
Okay. Here's a question for you. Had there been a crowd at GMHBA in that final quarter, would it have been enough to get them over the line against the Navy Blues?
Probably. I hate to say it, but probably.
Thank you to the COVID-19 there. All right.
And the last game, we got Hawthorn against North.
Yep.
And I think...
That won't be an easy
That's a very good game. I'm picking...
Don't tip a draw. Don't tip a draw.
No, I'm picking Hawthorn by a goal. It's going to be a very tight contest. It's one of those tricky ones where both teams, anything can happen. Okay.
If there's the last question I've got for you, how would you mark the AFL and its efforts this week? If you had to rate them out of 10, what mark would you give them after the week they've had?
I'd give them a 7 out of 10.
You give them a 7 out of 10. And what would you give Essendon after all the controversy through the week out of 10?
Probably the same. 7
really?
out of 10. Yeah.
I think you're extraordinarily generous. Alex Caiafa here on The Informer with his AFL tips.
Cheers.